Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is October the 13th, 2022. I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you, both my regular loyal subscribers and anybody new that has dropped in to see what I'm all about. And what I'm all about is showing finished objects, and I will be showing some today, and I'm going to be doing even more in the upcoming weeks. And that's my main focus, is showing you items that I have crocheted. And I have added to the channel a few other things, and one thing is showing yarn, mostly hand-dyed yarn. But today I have one bit of yarn from a big box store and some hand-dyed yarn. I was waiting for a very special order and hoped it would arrive by today, and it didn't. So we're going to have to wait till next week for this very special order that I made. But in the meantime, we have lots to look at today, and I hope you enjoy what you see. And for those that are new, please hit the subscribe button, and there is a little all by the bell to hit so you will get notified of all my videos. And for everybody else, please leave a thumbs up, and particularly leave me a comment. I really do enjoy your comments, and I respond to every single one of them. So we're going to start with finished objects, and I had a request to keep showing my jewelry. So you can see that today I wore a piece of jewelry, and I think you can see how nice and bright that is. I particularly picked this one today because it had a bright pink in it, a little bit of mauve, and I'm wearing pink, although you can't tell that from here. This was a piece of dichroic glass that has leaves on it. You can tell they're leaves. And they went from pink to purple, and across the spectrum I have another piece that's cut out on the other side that's sort of oranges and goldies, maybe even a bit of green in it. But this is my piece of jewelry for this week, and I am going to do as suggested as soon as I kind of get myself organized. I am going to take pictures of my jewelry, and I am going to upload it to my Facebook page. Now, we discussed my Facebook page. Not everybody can access it, and I did have people say, yes, please show us slideshows of your items, and I think I'm going to try and do that maybe once a month. Show you items I may have already shown or more. I'm going to do them in categories, do a slideshow every so often. So what about finished crochet items? Well, you can see that the girls are wearing items that I have made in the past. So we'll start by, my chair is stuck. We'll start by bringing Hope up here. And I'm thinking this might be the pattern called 1,000 Kisses from C.J. Brady. And typical of her patterns, they are kind of a crescent or boomerang shape. She increases and then she decreases going back. And they are one skein patterns, and I like them for that very reason. I don't know if you could tell, but it is a sparkle yarn. What yarn? I don't know. I would have pulled it out of the cupboard at the time. I wasn't, when I first started crocheting with my hand-dyed yarns, I wasn't making note of things. I wasn't recording anything. And now I am trying to do it a bit. Can you see? I don't know that you can see there is sparkle in that or not. Oh, a little bit if you're looking in the right place. It definitely has sparkle in it. and mostly pinks and mauves with the black or charcoal. You can see in just a moment that I have a theme going here, because when I bring Faith up, you'll see we're also in charcoal and purples, but a totally different color. And again, it's one of those, this one is more, it looks like it may have started at the point and worked up. So it's done in rows. See the rows? And this is not sparkle. And it actually says that it's merino, yak, and silk. So where I got that, I'll never know. But again, quite pretty. And again, the kind of thing that I like to wear. But that's because this is more appropriate to places that I go. So here we are. There. It's got a long enough tail. Actually, that tail should go down a bit. There, that looks a little better. But you can see I have a theme going here. Again, I don't know the color, the yarn, or the pattern name. Put her over here. And I have one more. I have a smaller bust that I can bring up. And again, we've got pinks and purples and charcoal grays. I guess I went through a phase where I really liked it. And this one is merino and nylon. Actually, of the three, this one feels the softest. The one with the yak and silk, it's not as soft as this merino nylon. But I'll show you again. This is definitely a shawl pattern that starts in the middle and goes down, and all the rows are not the same, but it's very soft. And I would have stopped after one skein because I would have only had the one skein in that color. And it is quite soft. Merino nylon is a very, very nice blend. Now, mind you, it varies from dyer to dyer. I've got dirt all over me. It varies from dyer to dyer, but generally speaking, a merino nylon blend is a very comfortable yarn to wear. So that's that one. And so we've gotten shades of pinks and purples with charcoals mixed in. All right, and none of those are things that I finished this week. I honestly did not finish one thing this week. I am still working on the tester shawl for Karen Hooley, and I had hoped to have it done today, but I think it might be by tomorrow, which will be, by the time you see this video, I will have finished it. But of course, I'm videotaping a day or two ahead of time. I always do. So no actual finished objects from me this week, but hopefully I have one thing done for you to see next week, or almost done. So then what? I have lots of stash. I can keep bringing out old things that you haven't seen. The next thing I want to show you, something a little bit special, is I got this package from Furls. And I went to open it. I knew what was in it, but when I went to open it, it had a card inside that says, your Furls package is here and it's time to get crafting. But before you dig in, consider doing an unboxing video and tagging us on social media. There's a thank you, and they ask you to videotape. So I thought, okay, I was going to show you these, but I thought I'll actually unbox it. The only thing I did was to cut this open to save us time, and found this card, so I decided I would unbox it for you. Now, the reason I bought these furls is not because I needed any more hooks. I have plenty. But I like to get their new colors when they come out. This is not a new color. They were having a special, and I thought, you know what, this is a good chance, because it really was a good special. I'll tell you about it in a minute. To buy some hooks and then use them as prizes. So they packed them very well. See how sizable this package is? And there are only 4 hooks. You know how little they are. But they put paper on top and lots more paper inside. That'll all go in the garbage. And inside you get one wrapped piece, and it is wrapped well. And as I unwrap, I get, every time I unwrap, I get another hook. And there are 4 hooks in here altogether, and there is the 4th. Now, I ordered in different sizes. They were just offering this one color called Cafe, and I'm not too sure why. Maybe they had overstock, but at the time I got to it, the choices of sizes were quite reduced, and I did not want to get huge sizes. I wanted to get something in the middle. I mostly wanted to get 5s and 6s, but that wasn't what I was able to do. So I will tell you what I did get, and it doesn't say on the box what size they are. So we'll see as we open. But the one thing you're going to notice, even though these are all the same, they're all Cafe, they'll all look different, because these are a resin that is, well, that's interesting. This isn't the, oh, this is different. This isn't the ones I got on sale. They'll come later. They'll come yet. No wonder they were here so fast. I forgot I did make an order of some of their new colors that I really, really like. So the ones that are giveaways, they'll come in another week. So the first one I got is this one. Isn't that? Can you see it has lots of sparkle in it? See the sparkle running through it? Very pretty. Very pretty. And it's an H, which you know is a 5.0. I use 4 the most because I do a lot of fingering. But then I do DK, which would probably be about a 5. And when I do worsted, of course, I use a 6 or a J. That is very pretty. Next one. A couple of them are pretty sparkly, and the other ones I ordered were, I think what they called the Pride. Okay, what is this? Alrighty. Okay, so this was their Pride, and they came out with the Pride in solid colors, and now they've come out with it in a sparkly. And you know me, I can't resist my sparkly colors. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, that's okay, a 6.5. Sometimes I have to get a size I don't use a lot just because that's all that's available. But that's, I don't know about you, but I love colors so much that when I'm working on a project, the color makes a big difference to me, how much I enjoy what I'm doing. And having such a pretty hook just seems to add joy to it for me. And that one is really, really pretty. Oh my. And the next one, I don't know what they call this one, but look at that. Look at the gold sparkles in it. And that one is a G, a G plus, which is a 4.5. 4.5, yes. I'll get a lot. They don't make this style lower than a 4. I would love to get one of these in a 3.5, but I guess they're too narrow and they tend to break. If I drop a 4 on the floor, on a, not a rug, but you know, a linoleum or wood floor, there's a good chance that this will break. So you have to be careful of where you set them down. So that's why they don't do the 3.5s. They're just a little too fragile. But the color in that is beautiful. And finally, the last one. You're going to have to wait probably a week or two before I get my next furls. And oh my goodness, this one is even wrapped up around the neck. And look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Now this one is a G, a 4. So I got a G plus, an H, and a K. I probably would have liked that one smaller, but it probably was all that was available. But a 4, a 4.5, and a 5. I'll get a lot of use out of those. Oh man, talk about sparkle. This one must have been made for me. Now, if only it's predominantly got a red look. If only they made this that was all blues and mauves, blues and purple sparkles. Oh, how gorgeous. Sort of like the end of this. So that's my furls order. I didn't open it ahead, so I got a surprise along with you. Alrighty, let's move on to yarn. I want to make sure I put these where they don't fall on the floor, although I do have rug in here. Now, I made an order, not an order. I happened to go to Michael's. I had a Prim crochet hook in a size 3, P-R-Y-M. I don't like using 3 much, but this particular pattern called for a 3, and I don't know what I was doing, something, and it snapped. It broke, even though it was plastic. So I went out to Michael's to buy another hook because I knew that they carried them. And when I was there, I happened, of course, to look through the yarns. It didn't have much that really interested me because I don't use a lot of the heavier weights, and they didn't have much that was new either. But what they did have is some new cairn cakes in what they call cloud cakes. Now, I have a couple of cloud cakes from last year. They were really hard to get here, but I did get one. And so I do have a whip that I pull out now and then. I haven't made much progress. I had to put it aside for all the summer stuff. But I am working on a cocoon cardigan for myself because this has got to be the softest yarn I've ever encountered. I love latte, don't get me wrong, but this is, you just want to curl up in it. It is so soft. The cake is so soft. And I have 2 solid cakes in this, and I've been busy. I'll get to it, but it keeps going to the back burner because it's for me. It doesn't need to be done, and there are things that I do want to get done. But when I was in Michael's, they actually had some new colors. They actually have more cloud cake and some new colors, which really surprised me because last year when they came out with the cloud cake and there were 1 or 2 others, we couldn't get them. So I just had to get a couple of each of these. And the first one I got is this color. Now, let me tell you about a cloud cake. Cloud cakes are 100% polyester. They are a number 4. And there are 760 yards in one of these cakes. So 2 of these cakes is easily going to make, well, 1 would make a shawl. 2 would easily make a cocoon cardigan. I'd have too much for a poncho. I could maybe use 1.5 for a poncho, and what's left over make a scarf maybe. This is so nice, and the fall colors. And I got one other one, and you'll know why. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I could even mix it with this and make something. So if I have leftover from this and this, I'll put it together and make something. But it was so soft, and this was so pretty. And they had some other pretty colors. They had, I believe there was a plain pink, and there was something else. I was tempted, but I knew I didn't need that much, but I had to get some. It is so soft. Excuse me. So I bought some. One of my first purchases from Michael's in, I don't know, probably a year or close to it. Anyway, I had to show them to you, even though I generally don't show you stuff from big box stores. We don't have any big box stores other than Michael's to actually buy from. But one day you will see this finished, hopefully not too far in the future. Okay, I have some other yarn sitting here that I have had for a few weeks, maybe even close to a month, but I haven't had time to show it to you. So today you're going to get to see it. I made an order from a company called Created for You by Laura. Created for You by Laura. I forget where she's located, although I do know it's in the U.S. I want to say Connecticut, New Hampshire, or Connecticut. I don't know. But anyway, I made an order bigger than normal because of two reasons. First of all, I really wanted to get these two. I'll tell you about that first off. And I wanted to try her various different bases, so I would have some understanding of what the various yarns felt like compared to others. And if I ever reordered, I would know what to get. So, we did run into a problem, which I'll tell you about later on. But first of all, let's start with this one. This one is called Knobby Stash. And I think you can see it is what I considered to be a tweed. And it was the only tweed color that I really liked. I wanted to get two tweeds because CJ Brady has recently come out with a pattern. I forget the name of it, but when I make it, I'll let you know. And it is made with two skeins of a tweed. I would have preferred something more browns or even fall colors, or even navies. This is a little prettier than I would have liked, but it's still a nice yarn. I love the colors, and so I'm going to use it. Now, it's a fingering sock weight, and it's 85% merino and 15% Donegal neb. And a Donegal neb is what gives those flecks, the tweed flecks. And there are 438, I believe, yards in 100 grams. And this color is called Mermaid and Purple Pip. Mermaid and Purple Pip. And it is very pretty. So I'm going to be making that scarf in this. I know what I'm going to do with this. Then I tried, I didn't go, she had, I think one or two DKs, and maybe even a worsted, I'm not sure. I stayed with all her fingering weights and tried the different bases. So this one is called Sassy Stash. And it's fingering weight, and it's 75% superwash merino, and it's 25% nylon. It's 2-ply, and it has 463 yards in the 100 grams. And it's called, I don't know. Oh, I see. She just names the colors: saffron, olive, and oxblood. But very pretty fall colors. And I thought, you know, most of the time when I make these one skein things, I make them in my kind of colors, blues, purples, pinks, grays, you know, that kind of thing. And I thought, you know, it'd be nice to have some fall ones in the one skein. So that's Sassy Stash merino nylon. Then I got this one, and it's called Smiley 4. Now this is 100% merino, okay? So that's the difference between these two. This is 100% merino, and it's 438 yards like the other one. And it has some of the same colors, but it's a little more to the yellowy, orangey yellowy side. This one has the browny green colors. And how many ply does it say? 4 ply. This is 4 ply, whereas this is, I think I said 2 ply. They're very nice. They're both nice. They're average compared to any others, much the same as most others. I'm going to say that maybe this one, the Sassy Stash with some nylon in it, is just a wee bit softer. Now, I want to tell you what happened when I processed my order, and the shipping was reasonable, and then I paid for it, and then it came back and showed that it was going to be shipped UPS. Can you believe it? If I had known, I wouldn't have processed it, or I would have contacted her. You know, my stories with UPS and FedEx. Well, I had a big go around with FedEx, but UPS haven't had as major a problem. But what happened was, a week later, I get notification from UPS. They want me to pay the order before they deliver it. And the total to pay to deliver it to me was $109. This order was about $188. I haven't finished yet. There's more. And they wanted me to pay $109 to get it. Well, I found a phone number to UPS. I called them and I said, I'm not receiving this order. I am not paying $109. Send it back. Later, I got the breakdown of the bill. I found it somehow on their site. And I believe the actual, you know, the processing fee, the GST, we have to pay GST when we buy things here. So when it comes from another country, if it gets stopped at the border, yes, they put GST. And I accept that. I would have had to pay GST if I bought it from somebody local, so I don't mind paying GST coming through customs, and a handling fee of $10. That would have come to, I believe, $40. Well, I think the GST was $40, and then another, you know, the post office would have charged $10. But they were charging $109. And that's because they have a clearance, something clearance that they charge of $35, and then there's GST on top of that. So I'm paying more than twice what it would be coming through the post office. I sent it back, and I immediately contacted Laura, and I said to her, this is what happened, and I'll explain why. It has been sent back. You're going to get this parcel back, and it's nothing to do with you or the yarn. It has to do with UPS. I refuse to pay $109 on this, and when you get it back, you can issue me a refund, or you can resend it, whatever works best for you. And she contacted me right away and said, no problem. I will, within a day, she resent the order and sent a note saying that that's fine. She would get the order back. She maybe went on UPS and was able to track her package and knew it was coming back, which was fine. So I got these, a week, 10 days later through the post office and paid. It did stop at customs. It doesn't always, but this one did. And I ended up paying whatever I was supposed to, but not $109. And I see the invoice she sends, and she gave me credit for the whole thing, even though she didn't yet have my parcel back. But I did contact her again to find out, and yes, she did get the package back. So everything was fine on her end, and she was happy with it. Now, to add insult to injury, about 2 weeks later, I get in the mail an invoice from UPS saying, you owe $109 and change. Like, your bookkeeping is pretty poor. Somebody sent this back. And when I called them, they could see all the notes and immediately gave me the credit. But why did I get that bill in the first place? Anyway, that's the story with UPS. I won't buy anything anymore online from the US without seeing on their site how they mail it, or contacting the vendor and saying, I don't know how you mail it, but please use the postal system. Otherwise, I won't be ordering. I'm not going to put us all through that again. But that's my my long saga about UPS and FedEx. If you live in Canada, be warned. Okay. Fortunately, I love her yarn, so I will probably order again, especially when you see the next 3. I have 3 more here. So, trying other yarns. This one is called Sassy Stash. And this is a sport weight. So, sport weight is the next level up from fingering. A lot of my fingerings look the same as sport weight as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, they are a little heavier. And this is 100% merino, 3-ply, and it has 328 yards. So that would be equivalent to this, which was 100% merino. And I think because it is a little bit thicker, can you see that it's a little thicker than this one? It feels a tiny bit softer. 300 less yardage. That happens as you go up in weight, you get less yardage, but a very nice color. I wanted to see and try it. And I have some sport weight here in the house. I may be able to put this with it and combine it. But now I know. Now, the other 2 that I absolutely love. The first one is this, and it is called Crystal Stash. It's a pretty color for sure, but it's what it is made of. It is a fingering sock weight, 50% superwash merino and 50% tencel. Some call it lyocell. And tencel says it is like the fibers from a eucalyptus plant. There are 412 yards in it. Reggie, are you watching? If so, you would really like this yarn because it is half tencel. And you can see a little bit of fiber there. And it is soft. Softer than all the other ones I've shown you so far. And, of course, a color that I can really get into. I really like that. And it feels really nice. Now, I would order this base again. It is very, very nice. The last one, it was a little more expensive, and it's called Sassy Stash. And it is 50% baby alpaca, 25% silk, and 25% linen. It's 3-ply as well, and there's 438 yards. They call it French vanilla. I was hesitant because of linen. Linen can be stiff, but I thought, well, hopefully the alpaca and silk will override it. Fingering weight. Definitely fingering weight. But I think you can see even more halo on this one, and that would be the baby alpaca. And Well, I have to say, this one is maybe a little softer, but this somehow has a sort of a luxurious feel. I think it's the alpaca. It always feels so nice. So I would definitely order these two bases again. Um, I might order this base. And if I was looking for a tweed, I certainly like this tweed base. And have to say the customer service is definitely good. She did everything she could to make sure I was a satisfied customer. So I really, really like these. Now I have one other order of yarn, and it comes from, by the way, I will link her sites, and she's on Facebook and she's on Instagram, and she has her own site, and I will link her in the description box below. Now finally, we're going to go to my favorite dyer, at least in Canada, although I don't know, I think she's still my favorite dyer no matter what, and that's Ravenswood Fiber Company. Now, she was supposed to go to a fiber festival, and she lives on the East Coast, so you know what they were dealing with along the East Coast, even up into Canada. I forget which province she was going to, New Brunswick, I think. And the Fiber Festival was canceled, and she was partway there and had to turn around and go back. And because it was canceled and she had all of this extra fiber for the festival, she decided to have a sale. Now, it wasn't a major sale. It wasn't like 25% off or anything. It was a few dollars per skein and only on certain ones. But I thought, you know what? It was a lot of it was on sparkle, and I love her sparkle and I love her yarn. So I decided to get more than usual. Usually I order one or two at a time because she sends it free shipping. Well, this came free shipping, but all in a big package, and that's why they're all in hanks and not flat in the plastic. But I ordered two that are DK. I don't order DK very much because you don't get as much in it. And this is called I think it's a mistake. I think it's black pomegranate. And it would be, yes, 85-15 merino and nylon and 225 yards. But I have a couple of CJ Brady patterns that would use one hank of DK, and I really like that color. And the other DK I got, because I was trying to get some different things, same specs, just a different color, and this is called Nesting. Very appropriate. Isn't that interesting? So I'll be making some kind of cowl type thing with these. I just really wanted to put some other colors into my stash. And then the rest I got from her were all Sparkle DK. And again, some of them are a little bit different. This one particularly is different than I usually get. And it has 400 meters, and it would be an 85. Oh no, this is 75-25. I guess they all are. I guess that's what her sparkle is. But you know, I don't know where she gets her bases, but they are always softer than any other fingering weights I get. And this is called Forest Dew. Lovely forest fallish kind of colors, aren't they? And I know you can see the sparkle, which is what I love. And her sparkle in the fingering weight was on sale, so I thought perfect time to get it. And there were some colors that were a little different than I usually get, and please don't come apart. I never get them back together once they come apart. So I got this color. You'll have to tell me, which of these do you like best of these four sparkles? We have Forest Dew. Then we have Moon on the Snow. This is a very light, delicate color. Again, I know you can see that sparkle. Very pretty. A little bit, I know it's got purples, but it's still a little different than I've had before. Now this one is a typical one for me. This one is called Full Moon. She had another one that was blues and whites, but it was darker. Full moon, again, full of sparkle. Every one of these makes you want to cuddle. Very pretty. And finally, this one is called Snow Shadows. And again, a little paler, a little more unusual than what I normally get. We got browns in there with a greeny teal or aqua, and a little bit of purple, and of course some blues or teals. Anyway, again, a sparkle, very pretty. And probably every one of these is going to make a CJ Brady scarf of some sort, unless I can figure some other colors to go with it to make something bigger. I didn't order doubles of anything. 2 of something would have made a nice shawl. This would have been the one I would have mostly, well, this one too would have made a great shawl if I'd ordered 2. I should check to see if she still has some of it. But I could put this with a plain navy, and that would be gorgeous. And I may very well have a navy sparkle, I don't know, or even white. Anyhow, so that's my acquisitions, and now I am all caught up to date on acquisitions. I don't have anything sitting around I haven't shown you. I have a parcel, 2 parcels coming in the mail this week, and one of them I'm really excited to show you, and it has something unique with it. So I had hoped it would be here for today's show, but it isn't. I'm sure it'll come tomorrow, a day too late. But anyway, next week I know I'll have that to show you, and I'm really looking forward to talking about that because it'll be different. It comes with a pattern and a special thing, so you're going to have to wait. I'll just make you curious until next week. So for next week, I will hopefully have finished my tester pattern and been able to do, I already know what my next one is going to be. It's been sitting, waiting to be done. And in fact, I started it once with mohair and it didn't work. I'd take it out. And more yarn for sure next week. But we're getting back settled into our usual routine of seeing my finished objects and seeing a few acquisitions. Now remember, all of you said how much you enjoyed seeing the pictures from you, the viewers. So I need you, the viewers, to participate and send me pictures. And I'm going to be doing that 2 weeks from today, October the 27th. I'm going to be running through pictures of items that my viewers have sent me. And I have pictures from 4 people already, and some of them very nicely sent me like half a dozen. So that'll be great. But I'd love to have finished objects, and I will take knitted or crocheted from you, my viewers, to be able to show in another 2 weeks. So next week, I'll have more finished objects and yarn to show. And until then, happy hooking.